Good evening, Yorktown, and welcome to the town board meeting for January 18th, 2022. We apologize for the delay. We ask if you could please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I ask if you could just please join me in a moment of silence as we remember the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose life we celebrated yesterday here in the town of Yorktown in several ways. We ask for the courage to continue his work, and we ask for the character to persevere against all injustices in the world. Thank you. We'll do introductions. I'll introduce people again as I see them on the screen. We have Deputy Supervisor and Councilman Tom Diana. We have Councilman Sergio Esposito, Councilwoman Luciana Howitt. We have Councilman Ed Lachterman, our Town Clerk, Diana Quast, and our Town Attorney, Adam Rodriguez. Again, we apologize for the delay, but we do have some reports to share. We will start with COVID. It seems, based on the data, that we have reached the peak. And I hope I'm not jinxing us, but this is the data that we're seeing across the state and the county, and it's the same here in Yorktown, that we are seeing a consistent decline in active cases. The file that was shared by the Department of Health today, which is actually a 3-day file because of the holiday weekend, shows an overall decrease of active cases in the town of Yorktown from 1,841 to 1,522. And so we're very, very happy to see what we hope is a continual descent from a very high peak caused by the Omicron variant of COVID-19. But this is not a victory lap. I want to make sure we're very clear about that. We're not declaring victory against COVID-19, and we still have work to do. That's why earlier today, the town board announced the new free COVID-19 testing site at Granite Knolls. I want to thank Sergio Esposito, who was working on this initiative prior to becoming a councilman. And we were hopeful to work with New York State and utilize this at FDR Park. Unfortunately, that just didn't turn out to be. But we felt it was still important to provide this service to the residents of Yorktown and to our neighbors in the surrounding communities. So again, there is a free PCR drive-through testing site at Granite Knolls. You have to register online. The link is right on the town's website, and I can share my screen real quick here. And we can show everyone the latest numbers and the links. Again, this is our COVID-19 dashboard. This has not been updated since the share file was only provided recently in the last, I think, 30 minutes. But I wanted to make sure that you saw over here on this box some important information. The Granite Knolls testing site, you click right here and it brings you to the registration site for you to register for your test. It's a PCR test. The hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 10 to 3. The other thing that I want to make sure that everyone's aware of is this other link, the covidtests.gov. Federal government is sending at-home COVID tests. All you have to do is click the link and register right through this the United States Postal Service website. Please note, it is only you can only do one per household. You can only put one order in per household. You get 4 free at-home tests. So my wife put an order in. I was not able to because my address was already registered into the system. So please understand that it's not for every individual, but per household. Some other non-COVID related, before I say that, our vaccine clinics continue to run. We had our 68th. They were experiencing some technical difficulties again. Tom? Are we still on, or we're on the air? I'm seeing the screen over here and it's dark. You want me to continue?
I can hear you from the TV.
Is there an image or no?
There's no image, but I can hear your voice.
Okay, folks, we apologize. We're once again experiencing some technical difficulties. If you can just bear with us, we'll continue in just a moment.
Audio is definitely working.
Thank you. We're back? Well, it's frozen on the monitor.
It just popped up on my end. I see it on the TV.
You can see it? It's not frozen?
We're all frozen.
At least Luciano smiled.
Look on
That's
their
what
face.
matters. Oh, boy.
There you go.
There's audio.
And we're frozen.
There's
Again, our apologies,
audio?
folks. Just having some technical difficulties. Just bear with us. I don't know if people can hear us.
Images.
Can you still hear us, Serge, on there?
100%.
Great.
Okay, great. So we just frozen.
But it didn't go off. And we're back. Our apologies, Yorktown. We had some technical difficulties. I hope you can hear and see us. We were going through our reports. Just to be clear, we were discussing the 68th vaccine clinic that occurred earlier today here in the town of Yorktown. Another great service that we've provided throughout the pandemic to the best of our ability. At this point, we believe we've serviced now more than 5,400 individuals through our vaccine clinics, which is pretty incredible. Our next round of boosters will be on January 25th and January 27th. Both will run from 2 to 4 p.m., and they will both be in the gym of the Capellini Center. We are going to hear shortly from our library director, Yvonne Check, but I do want to also make sure everyone knows about the library hotspot program that they are going to be launching on January 28th. I don't want to take too much fire away from her presentation, but another innovative program the library is offering for our residents. Are we off again? Off again? What does that mean?
Do we have a host?
I'm done. Can I say that?
We'll freeze.
Nah, just your.
Hey, good news.
It's a win. Yeah. She knows how to do squats. So are we?
Is it me?
I'm here.
And we're going to try this again, Yorktown. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We were in the middle of reports. We gave an update on COVID. We gave an update on the library hotspot. I did want to just let our residents know that we heard back from DOT regarding the pedestrian crosswalk at Downing Drive and Route 118. Once again, the DOT has denied our request for a crosswalk at that intersection, but they have agreed to put up trail crossing signs in both directions of 118 to make sure that to make motorists aware that there is a trail crossing or a trailhead right there on the other side of Downing. Real quickly on regards to Martin Luther King Day, we had a great day of service ceremony last night. I really want to thank Rabbi Robbie Weiner of Temple Beth Am. I really want to thank Trissy Kushner of Alliance for Safe Kids, the entire Yorktown Somers Interfaith Council who participated. Our town historian, Alice Roker, did a fantastic job, and we heard from some incredible young leaders of this community, and they really helped us bridge, I think, build a really important bridge. Hearing from our town historian, Alice Roker, and her accounts of actually hearing and seeing the work of Dr. King and bridging that to what Dr. King's work and meaning continue to be for the youth of our community. So that's being played on the Government Access channel. It's on our YouTube page. Please make sure you check it out because you're going to be blown away by some of these young people. I do want to thank the Highway Department. We did have a difficult snowstorm that they had to deal with. Unfortunately, it was more ice than snow. Honestly, the Highway Department would rather 12 inches of powdered snow than what we've been dealing with. But they worked very, very diligently. They were out for a long, long day. I really want to thank all of them. They are already preparing for another storm Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, so we're tracking that. And our Highway Department and our Highway Superintendent, Dave Paganelli, hopefully getting some well-deserved rest. Lastly, I do want to acknowledge we're having some retirements here in the town of Yorktown. And really, when I think about this, Don Gaffney from Central Garage, Kevin Alamonte from the Refuse and Recycling Department, Anita Hecker from the Recreation Department, and Mike Mill from Engineering, collectively, we are losing nearly 100 years of service to this community, and it's really an incredible tribute to those individuals, their hard work and commitment to the residents of Yorktown. We wish them the very, very best in their next chapters. One of the, I think, hardest things as a supervisor is not being able to have them here with us to recognize their service and their years of service to the town of Yorktown. So we are trying to work on some type of way of recognizing all those employees who have retired and moved on to that next chapter, so we can recognize them collectively. But to Donnie and Kevin and Anita and Mike, thank you so much for your years of service to the community. Know how much it means to us, and we wish you the absolute best. That concludes my report to the town, which turned out to be much longer than I anticipated because of some of the technical difficulties. But I will hand it over now to the town board, starting with Councilman Tom Diana.
Good evening, all, and thank you for your patience in dealing with our technical difficulties here. As you know, we had a little bit of a snow event and then an icing event the past couple days, and I just want to thank our Highway Department and all of our departments that help keep our roads clean with the Highway Department, making them safe for our town residents. A little bit of snow driving, snowy condition driving. Folks, slow down. And I'm sure I'm not the only one sitting on this town board that has seen, it seems like people are driving twice as fast as soon as that first glimmer of blacktop shows on the road. just because you have four-wheel drive doesn't mean that you can drive faster, because you're going to stop in a much greater distance. So just back it off a little bit. Second, for our snow plowers out there, okay, please do not leave your plowed snow out in the roadways. Do not push it across the road. In time, it will end up narrowing the roads, and it makes it tough for our highway department, who has already cleaned up the roads, to have to go back and clean up your mess. And thirdly, and I've thanked the highway department already, but folks, just because you don't see them out there does not mean that they're not out and about.
What do you?
When you're driving and cannot see in a snow condition, neither can they, and they have to back off a little bit and wait for it to stop so that they can go and make your roadways opened again and have them salted and free of snow and ice. So please slow it down and give our plows a break. Okay, that's all I got tonight. Little public safety message.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll head over to Councilman Ed Lacker.
Thank you, Supervisor. First, I will also echo the thank you to Highway and all of our departments on the roads.
How am I
Excellent
supposed
job.
to do that?
I drove through some of the communities that aren't ours, and nowhere near the job that our guys do. In addition, to piggyback on about the Martin Luther King event, it was truly amazing. And it's funny, I spoke with Alice afterwards via text, because I thought she did a phenomenal job, and she said she was very nervous about it. And to me, I didn't see nerves, but I saw raw emotion, which she said, yeah, that was it. But it was stories from her childhood, from the heart, that really, really were amazing. So it was great. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you to all that shared during that, and of course Trustee Kushner for working with the Your Town Somers Coalition now, correct? That to help.
That's correct.
Get that organized. The Sons of the American Legion had their breakfast this past Sunday. Thank you for all who went out in the extreme cold. It seemed like people were just had a little bit of cabin fever. It was a very well-attended event. We appreciate the support down there, and the Sons have decided to move their breakfast in February up a week to the second week, which will be February 13th, and there'll be special Valentine's Day theme. I believe our specialty pancakes are going to be chocolate chip strawberry pancakes. So
Yummy.
that should be good. And last but not least, the Yorktown Lions had their committee meeting this past Saturday, so the concert groups have been picked. We're just trying to arrange the dates for them, but I can tell you we will have class action. We will have a 50s revival band. We will have Andrea and the Armenian Rug Riders. We will have Danny V's 52nd Street, Tramps Like Us, Bruce Springsteen tribute, and I'm missing someone. Oh, the Showtime Dance Group, phenomenal 10-piece band, and they, so that'll be the lineup. We'll get the dates out through Parks and Recreation as they are partners with the Lions in this, and we're looking forward to a great concert season again for, I believe now, the 27th concert series for the Yorktown Lions.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Appreciate that. We'll go over to Councilwoman Luciana Howitt. Report to the town.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience with our technical difficulty. I just want to take a moment and just echo what Supervisor Matt Slater and Councilman Ed Lackerman and Councilman Tom Diana have just said. It's amazing to watch how much this community comes together. In the tribute to Martin Luther King, I found it to be not only a place of learning, but also a place of sharing. And it was not only the brave souls that were there telling their stories, but also us listening and learning and absorbing it. It was just pretty remarkable. I also want to thank the Highway Department and everyone for doing their part, for helping their neighbors out when we're covered in ice and snow. I've seen so many helping hands. It's been really nice to be part of that and witness it. I also was there today on Granite Knolls. It is a little chilly up there, so when you open the window, please be mindful of that. But we want to thank, again, Councilman Sergio Esposito for bringing that to light and for all of the helping hands that got us there. I just want to wish everybody a lovely Tuesday, and I am looking forward to the rest of this meeting.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And we'll end with Councilman Sergio Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So just to reiterate, the testing site is underway. It is at Granite Knolls. You can sign up at the town website. I know that Supervisor Slater gave you a demo and shared a screen, but then we got the technical difficulties. So just
We're
as a
hoping that
reminder-
everyone saw it.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm repeating it. So, there is, just go to the town website on the COVID updates. There is a way to, actually, there's a link to order the tests from the government, the at-home test, and I'll get into that in a minute. And there's also a way to sign up for the PCR test. We felt it necessary to bring in another site to kind of help out with the overwhelming demand for tests. Hopefully that demand is starting to subside and will subside, but we did bring this to the town. Just remember, the at-home tests don't offer any actual proof. So if you have a daughter like me and she's heading back to college, they might require a negative COVID test before you go there, and this site would be a great place to get that test as well. On the business front, I'd like to start offering some things that are going on in the business community at my bi-weekly updates. I just wanted to let everybody know that Peter Pratt's is under new ownership, and I'll be paying them a visit, hoping to introduce the new owners to the public. They're a great couple. They have restaurant experience, and they're looking to expand their menu a little bit. So let's give them some support and get over there and have a great meal. On Saturday, January 22nd, there is a grand opening and ribbon cutting at the Valley Sports Hub. It's located on the first floor of the Valley, the JP Mall, and they'll be having their grand opening and ribbon cutting. And Sports Hub is a collection of sports training for youth athletes, as well as health and wellness services for all. So join us on Wednesday, January 26th at 5:30. We're going to be gathering at Artists Senior Living, and they're hosting a COVID-safe networking meeting. And they're going to be offering tours of their facility. And you can find this information on the Yorktown Chamber's website. And two more items on Thursday, January 27th, and I think this is particularly exciting. Michael Yates, he is offering something called a webinar called the Employee Benefit Retention Program. And apparently there is a government-funded thing out there that you could receive up to $26,000 per employee back from the federal government. So he's going to be showing the businesses and anybody who's interested on how to do that. And on Saturday, January 29th, we're having another ribbon cutting. The place is called Direct Physical Therapy, and it's going to be at 201 Veterans Road, so join us for that. Ed, I'm looking forward to the concerts and really the celebration and the commemoration of the Martin Luther King Junior Day was unbelievable, and Alliance for Safe Kids did a spectacular job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Again, Highway Superintendent Paganelli sends his best, hopefully getting some well-deserved rest in preparation in recovery, and then preparation for the next bout of winter weather we expect to impact the Thursday morning commute. We do have a proclamation in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Happy to read as follows. It states, whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to strengthening the American character and called on our nation to live up to its foundational principles of equality, freedom, and justice, and whereas through his determination, spirit, and resolve, Dr. King led several iconic and nonviolent movements in the name of equality, freedom, and justice, and whereas Dr. King often emphasized the importance of service, which inspired this year's first annual Yorktown Youth Keeping the Dream event hosted by the Alliance for Safe Kids. And whereas the Yorktown Interfaith Council, Yorktown Somers Interfaith Council, and the town of Yorktown honored Dr. King's legacy of community action by hosting its second annual Day of Service ceremony. And whereas the town of Yorktown Town Board finds it fit and proper to acknowledge and celebrate the legacy of this great American and remember the ideals for which he fought. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Yorktown Town Board pauses in its deliberations to honor and remember the life and teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and be it further resolved that the Yorktown Town Board encourages all residents of the town to perform acts of kindness and service to others in the name of Dr. King. We have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
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 And we have a
Aye.
very special, thank you all. We have a very special presentation, and I'm thrilled to welcome Yvonne Check, Director of the John C. Hart Memorial Library. Yvonne, thanks for hanging in there with us. We apologize for the delayed start.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Want to make sure with all the technical difficulties that you can hear me.
We can hear you, we
Yes.
can see you.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I'm a little hesitant, but I am going to share my screen so I can go through some slides with you. I have a fairly brief presentation, but Diana, I should be able to share my screen, correct?
You
Yep. Okay. I see that it's letting me.
Yes.
Yes, you should.
Great. And so, can you now see the slide that's got the John C. Hart Memorial Library logo?
Yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'll keep my fingers crossed and we'll keep going. So for some of the new members of the board, I just give you a very brief background. I came to the Hart Library as the director in the middle of June 2022. I'm here today to give you an update on sort of the state of the library. I've been a library director for years in Connecticut and also in neighboring Croton-on-Hudson. I come from a library media specialist background, which basically means I was a public school library teacher before switching into the public library realm. I also grew up in Yorktown, graduated from Yorktown High, and I've come back to my roots here at the Hart Library. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of information about where we stand here at the library. As I said, I've been here about 6 months now, and I've had some time to assess the entire sort of library operation. And I'll tell you how we're doing and efforts, where we're focusing our efforts for the future. For a little background structure, all libraries benchmark themselves on sort of the following 4 library facets. There's the collection or the books and items that we lend. There's our library programs, including story times and book clubs and technology classes and lectures, etc. There's the professional service or reference, which is our professional state licensed librarians that help people with research, help people find books to read, help people with any number of questions. You'd be amazed at the types of reference questions we get. And also the 4th sort of area is our service spaces or areas for public use in the library. And I created this dashboard of statistics. We're just going to look briefly at the 4 blue boxes. We'll go from left to right. This will show how the Hart Library has sort of performed in 2021. And keep in mind, obviously, the library was physically closed to the public for approximately 5 months of the year, or 40% of our year. And although we did maintain service through our porch windows called Porch Pickup. This was very much appreciated by many of the residents in town. Also keep in mind that once the library was open to the public, pandemic behaviors made many people reluctant to enter a public space for another several months of the year. So considering all of those things, we managed to turn out some pretty impressive statistics. The first one, if you look at the first box, blue box on the left, annual circulation. Libraries love to talk about their circulation. And what that means is how many total items were lent out in the past year. So for the Hart Library, we had about 250,000 items lent out in the middle of a pandemic. I think that's pretty impressive. The second box, card holders, 18.5 thousand card holders, active card holders in Yorktown, which is about half the population.
Yep.
And that's also pretty impressive. And when I say active cardholders, these cards expire automatically about every 18 months. So this is really active cardholders. The third box, we had a little bit less than half of our normal visits to the library, which makes sense. We were only open a little more than half a year. So we had close to 90,000 visitors. That's people coming in to browse for books or to attend a library program. And then the last blue box, you'll see program attendance. We had about 7.5 thousand people attending library programs in 2021. And that, again, would be everything from story times to classes, lectures, concerts, etc. And so all of this, not too bad for a pandemic year, which is a testament to how much Yorktown residents not only love to read, but they love to use their public library.
Yep.
We are the 5th largest library service area based on population size in the county of Westchester. We serve about 47,000 people. That includes the entire town of Yorktown population and about an additional 10,000 service area in the town of Cortland. And this makes us, as I said, 5th in rank order of largest service size. I look at a lot of statistics in order to determine how well we are serving the community. I look at not only our own statistics, but you can see this list of 38 libraries. I benchmark all of our statistics against all of these libraries to get some sense for where we stand and how we're doing. So things that we were already working on at in the last few months of 2021 and carrying into 2022, as Matt mentioned, we are about to launch our hotspot lending program on the 28th of this month, so the end of next week. These are mobile Wi-Fi units. A resident will be able to come in. These will only be for Yorktown residents, and they will be able to come in and check out the device and have portable Wi-Fi wherever they are.
Hey, Yvonne.
Yes.
Sorry, can I be a bit of a nudge? Can you click on the bottom? See next to that 57%? That icon next to the 57% on the bottom right corner. It'll enlarge your screen so we can see presentation mode. I think some of the folks are. Yep, keep going a little more. No, keep going. Nope, keep going a little bit more.
She could also go up to slideshow and say play from slide.
Oh, there you go. Click on the. Perfect.
That's what it looks like on my screen. I'm in slideshow presentation, but I.
Gotcha.
Hang on. Thank you. Okay, so can you see it better? Is it good? A little better?
It's not. So you're seeing it on slideshow mode on your side?
I'm seeing it on slideshow mode.
Got it.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be seeing the notes.
The notes section, right.
So if you go up to the top tab, slideshow, do you see that on your end? Up on top it says home, insert, go to slideshow. Up higher. Do you see the view?
Yeah.
Right there, you see review. Go to slideshow.
No. Stay up on next to view. Stay up on view. Go left to review.
Go left to slide to review. Go to slideshow. Right up. Nope.
Right there.
Right there, and say play from current slide. From current slide. And that should make it.
Got it. Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Well, that's better though. At least we don't see the notes. So we'll go from there. Sorry, Yvonne. Just.
Okay. Sorry.
Nope. It's one of those nights.
I know it's one of those nights. Yeah.
One of those nights.
Okay. So as Matt mentioned, we're launching our hotspot lending program, and we are pretty excited about this because there are some people who actually don't have connectivity to the internet or don't have reliable connectivity. So they'll be able to borrow this for a period of 2 weeks. And we're starting off with 5 units, and we'll be monitoring demand, and we can always increase the number of units as time goes on if we see that we have a lot of demand for that. The second thing that we're working on that is increasing our library program space within the building. right now, one of the issues that we have is not enough space to actually hold programs because, especially with the pandemic and having to spread out, the community room is the only space that is suitable for that.
Right.
And so we are moving some staff around to repurpose offices for additional library program space. And that will be sort of a quick fix for little to no cost and will gain us an additional program space, a program room for meetings, and we'll be able to use it for scouts and Scrabble club and knitting club and mahjong groups, and that will be, I think, a great help to the public. We also took advantage of the New York State Construction Matching Grant to have the building rewired to update the standard wiring to Cat 6, which enabled us to increase our bandwidth and extend our Wi-Fi coverage out to the parking lots. We are implementing some new library programs with a focus on early literacy, such as the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program. Oh, now it's not letting me advance my slides. Let's try. Can you see that one?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So some additional goals for the library for 2022, apart from the hotspot lending program. We hope to bring EV charging stations to the library for the public.
Yep.
We will be increasing all of our programs in 2022 for children, for teens, for adults. And we are working on becoming a passport acceptance facility, which should revolutionize the availability for that because we are open evenings and weekends, and that's sorely needed in town.
It's awesome. That's great.
Once people start to be able to really travel again. Okay, we're doing this a little bit manually here because it's not letting me advance slides, but can you see the next one?
Yes.
So this building was renovated about 25 years ago, and at that time, the model for how people used libraries was pretty much a big, large space. And you know, over time, the way people use libraries has changed. And so some of the things that are needed in today's modern library are these. The thing that I get the most request for is private study space, and that is the thing that we cannot accommodate in our current space. So a private study space would be for people who are working remotely or studying remotely, and sometimes people need to take a Zoom call, or there's 5 people on Zoom calls in their house and they need a quiet spot, or the dog's barking and it's an important meeting and they need a quiet space. We have people who need to do exams remotely. We proctor exams here at the library with our, that's one of the things that our librarians do. So there's a lot of calls for private study space that we cannot currently accommodate. So we'll be looking at ways to do that. Dedicated teen space. We are walking distance to Lakeland High School, and we have no comfortable space for teens and for them to come after school. And so we're kind of underserving teens in that area. We hope to be able to create a space for teens. We also would love to update our adult reading space and create a quiet reading space. As I said, the whole library now is sort of one big giant room, and we do get some people who complain about the noise traveling in the space, so we'd like to update that space. And also we could use a current technology exploration space.
That's awesome.
So libraries all over the world are transforming to meet the needs of their communities, and we will as well.
Sounds great, Yvonne.
So we know that the use of public library buildings are evolving, and I want to just sort of end by showing you some images of 21st century library spaces to start thinking about for the years ahead. Let's see if this works. Can you see this slide of the individual study pods?
Yep.
So I talked about the need for individual study areas, and this is one style. These are study pods. These are all images from actual libraries. This is study rooms. So these are rooms that, again, would be used for tutoring, for exam proctoring, for remote work, remote school. They're in really high demand in every library that has them. In Connecticut, there's a library near me that recently renovated, and I spoke to the director after her renovation, and they had added 7 private study spaces, pretty much like the one you're seeing on the screen. The day they opened after their renovation, they did their grand opening, and she said she wished they had added 10 study rooms. They were in such high demand. So we know that this is going to be with us for a while, the need for private study space.
Right.
I mentioned the need for a teen-friendly space. These are some images of some spaces that are sort of simple to do, but friendly for teens. Anyone who has a teen at home or knows teens knows that they like their own space, and they no longer want to use the children's room in our library, and they don't really want to be in the adult room. They want their own space. So a teen space, something that's welcoming, attractive, will bring teens into the building. And again, being walking distance from Lakeland High School, it would be really great if we could offer teens a nice place after school to come and study or meet with friends to work on projects.
I see a big smile on Councilwoman Luciana Howitt's face there. She's really into working with our youth, so this is right up her alley.
Yeah. I love it. Making safe spaces for people to grow is amazing.
And this is the place to do it, here at the library. About 10 to 15 years ago, many libraries jumped into the maker space arena. A maker space is quite literally a space where you make things. And it's usually using technology or some kind of equipment. Libraries have taken up this cause to provide access to the technology and the equipment that many people might be interested in having, but don't necessarily have the ability. Sewing machines, 3D printers, Cricut machines, or die cut machines. And they're the types of things, again, that people might be interested in exploring, but not necessarily purchasing for home use. So libraries can provide that access, just as we do with our public computers.
And Yvonne, I asked you this when we met. In comparison, I know that we don't have 3D printers on site, but can you give us a comparison as to how useful and other libraries, they have several 3D printers on hand for people to create some incredible things with, right?
It is true. There's a lot of grants that are available for this type of equipment. I created a makerspace in Croton when I was there, and in Brookfield we had a mobile makerspace because we didn't have the physical space. But mostly they consist of 3D printers and some other things. I'll give you just one example. We had someone who needed a part for their boat, and they couldn't get the part, and they were able to find a file for how to create it on a 3D printer. They sent us the file. We printed the part for their boat, and they were able to use that. I mean,
that's awesome.
So many things.
You got to be careful. Councilman Diane is going to send you his entire catalog to print off of a 3D printer. Right, Tom?
I'm all set. That's correct.
There's the thing that I love about the 3D printer access through a library is you get to create programs, you get to bring in the youth, and have, you can envision a multi-generational learning experience where you have, you have 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th graders teaching seniors how to use 3D printers, and it's a great way for community engagement. So I think that's something that we can definitely.
And the other thing, Yvonne, that we could do, we have a pretty heavily frequented repair cafe. So maybe that's another alternative space for the repair cafe to offer their services as well.
And it's absolutely. So we definitely want to be able to also partner with students and have them get involved. I'm showing you an image of a sort of combination makerspace area in a library where in some places they have, they're working on computers, some people are working on sewing machines, and everyone's doing something, sort of actively creating something.
It's amazing.
And then we don't want to forget the quiet reading room for adults. As I said, we do get complaints about noise in the library because the building was designed as a large open room. Sound travels, so adults here in Yorktown definitely would appreciate a quiet reading space. So we don't want to forget that when we're rethinking how to get some new spaces, service areas in our library.
Yvonne, can I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I have to, while these things pop into my mind, have you done any cost estimates for us to create a maker space or even one of those teen center area or teen, I don't want to say teen center, but a teen room? Do you have anything in your mind, just so the board has an idea of what we're working towards?
Yet, but I am actually asking architects to come in and give us some estimates. So
cool.
I will have something in the next couple of months.
Okay, great, perfect.
I love the pods and the look of it all. It's so modern looking. But
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's the way libraries are evolving to respond to the needs of communities, and that's.
It looks great. The pictures you put up are just fantastic.
Yep, very nice.
I've got one last one that's. This was a post from a few days ago, and I just thought it would be a good way to end the presentation, showing you someone who was so thrilled that their daughter was able to do her first Zoom call by watching This Is Our Story Time that's gone virtual.
Yep.
And so this is little Sophia, one of our younger patrons, doing her very first Zoom meeting by participating in our story time with Miss Marka from our children's home. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that is the presentation. I want to thank you for allowing me some time this evening to share this with the board and with the community, and I look forward to coming back to you in the future to show you how we're transforming the library and continually meeting the needs of the Yorktown community.
Well, Yvonne, it's a great vision. Before I forget, also, I think I have a little girl who might be interested in your 1,000 books before kindergarten. I think there's 1,000 books in my house already, but I'm sure she'd love the challenge. So make sure you let me know when that starts, because I know that she'd love it and my wife would love it. But thank you so much for bringing this great vision. John C. Hart Memorial Library is a true asset to our community. It provides so many services, but you clearly have a vision to take it to the next level. We can't wait to work with you on it and make some of the things that you talked about tonight a reality, because I think it would be great for the town and great for the community, especially the youth of our community, which I think is going to be a real focal point of this board this year.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much.
The library, I knew that the library was in good hands, but now seeing your presentation, it's just unbelievable, and the vision is just incredible.
Well, I look forward to working with you all in the future to make this a reality.
Yeah. Yvonne, just out of curiosity, are the things like the pods, the mobile hotspots, are those all going to be reservable, or is it going to be a first come, first serve?
So mobile hotspots, we decided not to have them on hold because that actually takes them out of circulation for an extra day or so while we're holding them. So we want to be able to circulate them quickly. If we see that we are maxing out very quickly on these 5 devices that we purchased, we'll automatically buy another pod. We know that in communities that are about half the size that we are, that their demand is for more like 20 to 25 hotspots. So we're going to try and engage it, and we'll just, we're sticking our toe in, and we're just going to see how it goes. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get the word out on it as well, but we will be doing that, and then we'll report back to you and let you know how it's going.
Right. Well, you know what? I just think this fits so well because you have the old building, the progress, and the preservation. So it's just really a great thing for us. So thank you for all your dedicated work on that.
And thank you all for all you do for the town as well. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to welcome, I don't know if he's still on. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're still trying to patch together a couple things here. So when Diana returns to her desk, we will welcome John McMullen, the Poet Laureate. I have to just warn John, he may have a run for his money because we heard yesterday from Kelly, a 14-year-old, who was just incredible with her poem. So, John, you may have a run for your money there for Poet Laureate now.
She was remarkable.
She was incredible. Hey, John McMullen, how are you?
I'm all right. And just to pick up what Yvonne just said, a week from tomorrow night is the monthly meeting of the Yorktown Poetry Workshop that's under the auspices of the John C. Hart Library. And we meet every month with guest people from around the country as well. So
Great.
Very pleased with that.
Excellent.
Good evening, all. Or is it tomorrow morning? I'm not quite sure yet.
Good evening, John.
Good evening. I've been writing a chapbook for local Gen Press, and the challenge was because of the terrible year we all had last year, that the overall theme was how the phoenix rises from the dust. So this is the opening poem from that. The Phoenix. Throughout history and literature, the story of the Phoenix has resonated as a guide for humanity. It is not clear if it originally came from the Egyptians or the Chinese, but it went from whoever the source all the way to the X-Men. It is the story of the fabled giant bird that lived for 500 years, only to die and decompose into ashes, and then be reconstituted and rise again for another 500 years. It has become, for many, the metaphor for the human race that decided, ascended, and crashed to the ground when natural disasters, wars, and sickness brought humanity to its knees, only to see it rise again. The Greek Age, the Roman Empire, the Dark Ages, the 100 Years' War, the bubonic plague, the Chinese dynasties, and our own country, the American Revolution, the Civil War, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, Vietnam, even the great religious stories, whether scientifically or theologically accurate, the Garden of Eden, the life and death of Jesus Christ, imbued into us the resilience and the triumph of the human spirit. Now this country is faced with twin low points: the greatest polarization since the Civil War, the worldwide pandemic. Do we sink into the ground like the dying phoenix and stay there? Or rise again like the resurrected one? It's too soon to know.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
We always
Thank you,
appreciate
John.
your words, and we do hope that we are rising once again. We will go to personnel. We'll take them together. We will reappoint William Lascala to the planning board and accept with regret the retirement of Anita Hecker from the Parks and Recreation Department. Have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. We will now turn to courtesy of the floor. Again, we're just going to give our town clerk a second. She's still trying to patch this whole thing back together for us. As a reminder, people don't need to wait for courtesy of the floor to bring any issues to the town board. We hear from residents every single day. If anyone has an issue, please feel free to call Town Hall at 914-962-5722, extension 200. You can also email me directly at mslater@yorktownny.org. You can also find all the contact information for any of the town board members right on the town's website, and I'm sure that they will assist in any way possible. As a reminder, courtesy of the floor has a 3-minute time limit, and we once again request that your comments be focused and respectful to the board and to those listening.
Okay, so we're going to start with Dan Strauss.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Strauss. Mr. Strauss, can you hear us?
That didn't work.
Dan, you on?
Dan, you're on?
We hear him.
Well, we did hear him.
He just muted himself now.
No, we just lost him. All right.
He's dialing in.
Dan, are you there?
Oh, dear.
Mr. Strauss? Diana, do you want to see if there's anyone else on courtesy of the floor? We can come back to Mr. Strauss when he dials in. I think we have Susan Siegel on. Susan, can you hear us?
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, okay, I'm here.
Great. Happy New Year. It's great to hear from you.
Are you waiting for Dan?
Nope. The floor is yours. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello?
Yes. You're on, Miss Siegel. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Miss Siegel, can you hear us?
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, Miss Siegel.
All right, technological difficulties here. You'd think I'd be used to this by now, but I switch between the TV and the Zoom, so it gets complicated. Thank you very much, and good evening to all. I would appreciate an update on the status of your plans to proceed with the water meter project. Back in November, I asked for an update, and it sounded like good news that something was going to be coming soon. So could you tell me what the status is and what the plans are? Because every day that we delay implementing the new meters, we're losing thousands of dollars. So that's basically my question. What's the status? Will you have to go out to bid? Will this be a sole source project? And when can we expect to hear something? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Siegel.
Thank you.
Next. I'm sorry, Diana. Can you unmute yourself? We couldn't hear you.
Next will be Jenny Sunshine when she signs on.
There she is. Great. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year to you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to mention a little bit tonight. I was just thinking in great detail about the Underhill 118 corridor. I was present at the meetings where you had the professionals speak about the overlay zone and the the traffic related to that area, and I just became really concerned because if you look ahead into the future, a couple of years, what have you, and a lot of the building projects that I know that this town board is very interested in doing, and also the planning board and other things that are coming down the pike. We know that Uncle Giuseppe's is moving over to the big building. We know Caremount is very successful. We know that the coronavirus hopefully will subside, and people will go back to commuting. And then where do they commute? They actually commute a lot of times through the Underhill corridor, because it not only goes to the Taconic, but it also goes through to the train station, which a lot of people prefer because Croton on Hudson has a lot of the great times where trains originate from and so forth. So, but there's other things too that I just wanted to, mention, because the different, your professionals didn't mention that, like the Beeline buses also use the bus stops there at the town hall area to pick up people and bring them through the Underhill corridor as well. Also, the Kmart building is going to be built too. Hopefully, that's a wonderful building project. But that just brings a lot more people to that area. The Caremount building is very filled and successful, and their parking lot is almost filled all the time. There might be a hotel in the downtown area. Also, a lot of people aren't out doing a lot of shopping right now because of coronavirus, but they will. So all of those places, including the town hall area, will be filled and be utilized once again, and a lot of new businesses and so forth. Let's not forget that the Trader Joe's is going to be opening, hopefully, at 202 and the Taconic. Now you say, well, why is that a problem? But people will use Underhill to go to Taconic to get over there to the 202 area. I know a lot of people would use that depending on where they live and so forth to go shopping there. And that is a very, very, everybody loves to shop at Trader Joe's. And I'm sure, you know, everybody's wife knows, I know that the nearest Trader Joe's is Connecticut or Scarsdale. So if there's one here, you're going to bet that people from Katona, people from the surrounding area are going to come through here and use the Underhill area. And of course, there's the Soundview project, which if it goes to the fruition, will have 165 units. And there's other things, you know, we just don't even realize how much people use that area. And I'm just afraid that it's going to be too busy and it's going to be too dangerous, and people don't really know. I mean, your traffic guys, I don't think they live here, and I just don't remember them saying all of these things. There's also some other new
Jenny,
things.
I think your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, I know. There's just so much to say about this particular issue.
We appreciate that. We appreciate your comments, but your 3 minutes are up. If you want to just close quickly, we'll allow it.
Well, you're going to have older folks living at maybe Soundview. So if you do, I don't know how they're going to cross the street with thousands of more vehicles.
Yes, please.
Great.
Anyway,
thank you very much. Thank you, Jenny. Next.
Mel Tansman?
Okay. Hello, Mr. Tansman.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year to you. Good evening, Supervisor Slater and council members. Mel Tansman, 31-year resident of Mohegan Lake. First, I'd like to really commend the town, the Alliance for Safe Kids, the Interfaith Council, Alice Roker, and most importantly, the youth of Yorktown for their excellent and moving remembrance of the legacy of Martin Luther King yesterday. It meant so much more than just a simple proclamation and inspired so much hope for our community and our future. It really reminded me that the Reverend stood not only for civil rights and integration, but also worldwide economic justice, peace, and a beloved community. It seems in these days of division and rancor, that message is something that we forget too often. Tonight, I'd like to share with you these thoughts from Martin Luther King regarding housing justice for poor and working people of all races. We are tired of living in rat-infested slums. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to open the doors of opportunity to all of God's children. As some of you may know, I am a member of the county's Housing Opportunity Commission, as an appointee of the county executive. The commission is charged with educating, advocating, and advising on the topic of the need for fair and affordable housing in Westchester County. This is one of the ways I provide service to my community and work to fulfill Dr. King's vision of equal economic and social opportunities. I have shared with previous town boards the very real problem of unaffordable housing in Yorktown and the county. Yorktown can contribute to achieving Dr. King's vision of equal opportunity and a diverse community by passing an affordable housing ordinance and joining the county in its goal of providing 11,700 new units of affordable housing in the coming years. We all know that opportunities to develop new housing in Yorktown is limited by our mutual desire to maintain open space and preserve the character of our town. That is why now is the time to pass an ordinance as we embark on redeveloping and re-envisioning our downtown districts, with over 400 residential units included. Surely, the inclusion of 40 or so affordable units will not be a burden to the town and its residents. Time is of the essence in making this commitment to fulfilling Dr. King's vision of opportunity. I hope the town board will not delay in addressing this call for housing justice. Is delayed, is housing justice is denied. Thank you for your consideration during this week when we honor Dr. King. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Tansman.
Thank you.
Right on time.
Thank you.
That is all I have. I don't see Dan back on.
Okay. We'll make a motion to close courtesy of the floor.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any comments from the board? Ms. Siegel, the water meter project, we are waiting to hear on the, it's financing the water meter project, so we're waiting to hear back from the state on our NIWEA grant, which is geared towards a cement relining, but that will also dictate the financing of the water meter project. As for Jenny Sunshine's concerns regarding traffic, we hear you loud and clear. Traffic mitigation, of course, is going to be required for any type of development that comes in. It's part of the secret process. The experts that we brought in also emphasize the fact that the transition from commercial to residential actually reduces the traffic count. And we will, of course, make sure that the traffic counts that are used are pre-pandemic traffic counts to make sure that they are apples to apples in what we're looking at and don't reflect a decrease in commuter traffic. Any other comments from the board?
Nope.
Okay. We will move forward with our agenda with resolutions. We will be awarding a bid for formatting, printing, and delivering the 2022 Parks and Recreation brochures. We will be awarding this to the lowest bidder of cover design and layout is to Chase Press for the 2022 program brochure bid. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have several advertisements. We'll take them together. We have a resolution to authorize the town clerk to advertise bid for grit and screenings removal for the water pollution control plant. We have a resolution to authorize the town clerk to advertise bid for membrane filtration module replacement for the water pollution control plant. As an aside, we had our town engineer Dan Ciarcia on last week discussing some of the upgrades and enhancements to the sewer plant. He had mentioned that several of these were going to be on this week's agenda. Authorize the town clerk to advertise bid for the sludge and grease removal at the Yorktown Heights water pollution control plant. Authorize the town clerk to advertise bid for various chemicals for the Yorktown Heights water pollution control plant. Authorize the town clerk to advertise bid for the purchase of fencing for the Granite Knolls inclusive playground area. Very happy to see that move forward. I want to thank all of our partners for working with us to get us to this point, and especially thank you to Diana and Pat Caparel, who've been very, very instrumental in getting us here. Authorize the town clerk to advertise a request for proposal for operation of food and concession at the Junior Lake Pool and the Brian J. Slavin Aquatic Facility. And authorize the town clerk to refer out and set a public hearing date for February 22nd, 2022 to consider a proposed local law amending Chapter 300-81.4 of the Code of the Town of Yorktown entitled Zoning regarding solar energy. This was, again, discussed at last week's work session, and these are the solar law amendments that the town board will consider. So do we have a motion for those resolutions?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motions carry. Sorry, I'm being told that I can square this up now. Let's see if that works. Excellent. I don't have Tom Ciangelo looking over my shoulder anymore, I guess, with his other camera. Other resolutions that we have, we're going to authorize the building inspector, and I want to thank Councilman Esposito for spearheading this, Authorize the building inspector to issue temporary permits for the operation of sidewalk cafes or outdoor dining areas in non-residential zoning districts, regardless of the quantity of seating. This is a continuation of the outdoor dining and sidewalk sales permitting that we've had in place since COVID-19 has struck our community to help encourage outdoor dining and our sidewalk sales for retail. We're also going to authorize the comptroller to release retainage to Montesano Brothers, Inc. on the Granite Knolls Sports Complex contract. We will also authorize the library director to execute an agreement with Automated Control Logic for an on-call monitoring of the library's mission control equipment. And we will authorize the assessor to grant exemptions of the 2022 assessment roll to all property owners who receive such exemptions on the 2021 assessment roll. Essentially, for those who may not know, on December 26th of last year, Governor Hochul issued an executive order, and so as part of her executive order, she's extended, for those who may remember, we did this last year, extending the ability for local governments to automatically enroll those on who are either who receive a senior exemption or have identified as a person with a disability and receive a disability exemption. It automatically enrolls them, so this way we don't need to have them come back to town hall. They usually have to enroll annually, and this will just be an automatic enrollment from the year prior. We also have a resolution to renew the Sani Pro Disposal Services Corp. DBA Suburban Carting commercial garbage licenses for 2022, and to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to auction equipment that is obsolete and no longer used by the department by Absolute Auctions. We have a motion for those resolutions.
So
Go ahead, Ed. Second.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We do need to return, and I'll make a motion to return to executive session for the purpose of consulting with our town attorney on legal matters. We did not get to that portion of our closed session earlier.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We will be adjourning the meeting immediately following. Oh, geez. We do have to go back in because I forgot one from Margaret.
Motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I apologize. We did have one more resolution from personnel, and it came out of closed earlier, and I will read it in its entirety. Be it resolved that Nicole Fasci of Yorktown Heights, New York, is hereby appointed to the Civil Service title Office Assistant Auto Systems, Job Class Code 0750-01, from eligible list number 02-140, effective January 24th, 2022, to be paid at the rate set forth in the Yorktown CSCA Salary Schedule A-1, Group 8, Step 1, which is $54,717 annually. Be it resolved, contingent upon successful completion of a drug test, and be it further resolved that this appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12, nor more than 52 weeks, commencing on the first day of appointment on January 24th, 2022. We have a motion to accept the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, there you go, Sergio.
Sergio, you make one. Go ahead.
Motion.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Good night, all.
Resolution carries. Good night, John. And again, we'll be returning to executive session.
Motion to go back into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Yorktown.